Yo, this is Real Talk E. Welcome to the locker room where we talk nothing but basketball. If you want to be part of the locker room, you obviously have to be part of the team. In order for you to be part of the team, you have to subscribe and share the video to not only be part of the team in the locker room, but to also be a part of our daily basketball conversations so that you don't miss nights of basketball like this.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.
Now, yesterday in the league, there wasn't a lot going on. There's only 7 games on last night, which is good to watch. But there were only 2 games that really mattered. There were only 2 games that were interesting. Well, 3, but I don't really want to talk about the third one. It broke my heart. Anyway, let's talk about the first game, which was the Bucks and the Kings. Now, to start off the quarter, the Kings go 2 for 2 from 3. They start shooting it like crazy. The Bucks go into a shooting slump, and then out of nowhere, the Bucks just fight back, and they keep fighting back, and they take the lead. The Kings could not guard Giannis in the first quarter. It's like they forgot the game plan of how to guard Giannis, and he just kept getting to the basket. Chris Middleton was big in this game. He came out, and it felt like the same old Bucks team that won a championship last night. The Bucks team is back. All this talking, in the beginning of the season, before All-Star break, about how, the Bucks have been a sleeper team this year, about how they've been injured, They are back. They have healed at the right time. They are back, and do not count them out. They can win the ring. They can go to the finals. They can have a deep run into the playoffs, just like every other team that we are given a chance to. Yesterday, in the second quarter, is back and forth, and then out of nowhere, they take a 13-point lead. We get into the third quarter. Giannis scores 19 points in the third quarter. Gets to the basket time after time after time after time. Just attacking the basket. He hit 2 threes, and he was pretty much unguardable. The Kings did not know what to do with him. And on the other side, Domantas Sabonis was unguardable. He went off. He was going crazy. He had a triple-double last night. And not only that, the entire Kings team was just scoring. This is one thing about the Kings. Actually, I'm going to say that for the end. The Kings team had a lot of shooting, okay? And even De'Aaron Fox has been way better from 3 than I remember from before his injury, before the last year. And he hit a super clutch 3 last night. Kevin Huerter hit like 8 threes last night. The entire Kings team, just a bunch of shooters. And then on the other end, obviously I already said Giannis with the 19 points. Chris Middleton ends the game with like 30 points. And not only that, at the end of the third quarter, Giannis has 40 points. He ends the game with 46 points, 12 boards, and 4 assists. And we get into the fourth quarter. This is when Chris Middleton really came through, because he didn't really do what Chris Middleton used to do before, where he just takes over the entire quarter. But he took it over in spurts. Like, he came out, scored back-to-back buckets, and then cooled off, let the rest of the team, score. Brook Lopez had a couple of shots, and Chris Middleton will come back in and score a couple more times, and then pass the ball around, have, Bobby Portis hit shots. Jay Crowder had like 4 points last night. Javon Carter had a couple of points last night. I mean, it was a lot. And then at the end, Brook Lopez just delivered the dagger, and it was over. Like I said, Sabonis had a triple-double. De'Aaron Fox with, super clutch buckets. At the end of the first quarter, he hit a clutch bucket that was a buzzer beater. And then we get to the fourth quarter, and, he's the clutchest player in the league so far this season, like in terms of stats. And he was going off last night. Shot after shot after shot, just going crazy. And the Bucks end up winning 133 to 124 by 9 points. Now, here's the thing with this Kings team. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. They are dangerous on offense. Super dangerous on offense. But they don't have great defense. So a lot of teams like the Bucks, like the Celtics, like the Nuggets, I don't know about the Nuggets of late, but before the All-Star break, even Philly, the Warriors can actually compete with them. All the other teams I named besides the Warriors and probably even the Sixers and even the Cavs, if they end up meeting the Kings, if somehow, some way, both these teams make it to the finals, I will be damned. But any team that has good defense or great defense, this Kings team is going to struggle. And you know why they're going to struggle? Because when it comes down to crunch time, when it comes down to clutch buckets, when it comes down to, minutes that matter in the game, that's when defenses lock in. And if you think they're going to let De'Aaron Fox go off for 40 points in the playoffs every damn night, you're out of your mind. And if you think they're going to allow him to take easy shots at the end of the game for, clutch buckets in the playoffs, you're out of your mind. Not saying that he's taking easy shots now, but I'm just saying it's going to be way harder. So any team that has great defense and experience, this team is going to struggle with. And that's going to hurt them. However, our next game of the night, we had the Celtics go up against the Rockets. And what the hell happened? What did I watch? What was that? Like the first quarter, Celtics come out and they're just scoring. And they take a lead on the Rockets. And out of nowhere, the Rockets just started scoring. And then it's a tie game. And then we go to the second quarter, and it's pretty much back and forth. Third quarter, back and forth. Fourth quarter, it's still a back and forth. Celtics could not put them away. And not only that, Jaylen Brown came out and had 43 points. Jason Tatum did not have a bad game at all. He had like 30 points. And they lost. And if you look around this Celtics team last night, you'd be like, how did they lose? Malcolm Brogdon came off the bench with 20. Marcus Smart, Derek White had, what they usually do. And Jaylen Brown, 43. Jason Tatum with like 30 points. How did they lose? And it's not like they sat anybody out. Everybody played. I don't even know. I genuinely do not even know how they lost. I guess just defense. And just not playing hard enough. The Celtics went into this game expecting the Rockets to be an easy lick. They were expecting to win. And the Rockets, I said this in the beginning of the year, they're one of those teams that you could beat. And you could beat them convincingly. But at the same time, if they feel like they have a chance, they're not going to leave the game. They're going to stay in the game somehow, some way. They're going to stay within 5 to 10 points the entire game. Is like a headache. And they're going to find a way to be there. And if you don't somehow find a way to win or clutch it up, they're going to beat you. And you know how they won? I don't know what they just started making buckets, okay? Fourth quarter comes and they just start scoring. Like, they could not miss on 5 possessions. And then when it came down to the last buckets, Jaylen Brown got to the basket off the timeout, quick 2. Now, that's fine because they still have another timeout. So, Rockets shoot free throws, cool, whatever. And they give the ball to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, even though he had a decent scoring night, it was so quiet. Super quiet. It was not the Jason Tatum 20, 30 points that we are used to watching. It was so quiet. We did not feel that 20 points at all. At all. So they give him the ball, and they try and get him a full head of steam to get to the basket to tie and go to OT. And he misses. And that's how they lose. I've always said this. the Celtics always get up for good teams or decent teams and they beat them. When it comes down to bad teams or teams that they should beat, they're just, I don't know what happens. Like, they start making dumb plays, they start chucking up shots, they start playing like unusual. I don't know what goes on. Like, how, like, do they think, are they going to beat this bad team? Like, do they think it's just going to come in and it's just going to be like practice? Like, they're just going to beat up on a bad team? Like, this is not 2018 no more, where these teams are tanking. You could just come in and just play around with them. Even bad teams are trying to win for some reason. When you come in, you have to score. You have to try to, win. You have to play hard. At least until you put them away. Give yourself a chance. And then for our final game of the night, we had the Suns go up against the Warriors. And oh my God, I did not want to watch this game. This game broke my heart. Watching this game made me realize that, one, obviously the Suns bench is terrible, but Monty Williams needs to figure out how to use the bench to not make it look as bad as it really does. And then two, it's like if Devin Booker is not there, the Suns just don't have a chance to even touch the court. And it also made me realize, this is the most important thing, the Suns really, really need Kevin Durant. They really need Kevin Durant. Because even though they fought back and came back to compete, they lost this game by a lot. And then, I don't know what type of beef is between Chris Paul and Steph Curry. Obviously, some history with those guys. They've been playing against each other for like a decade plus. But Steph, with his comments, talk about it's not 2014 no more. Man, that hurts. That hurts, man, because I believe that's when the Clippers used to beat up on the Warriors all the time. And then there was like one Christmas game where the Warriors beat them, and ever since then, it just has not been the same. Steph Curry has been smoking Chris Paul's teams time after time after time. But I don't know, this could set up for an amazing playoff series. Suns versus Warriors. That's amazing. Now, if we don't have Kevin Durant, Suns don't stand a chance. At all. At all. Not the way they played last night. Now, mind you, the Suns beat the Warriors a couple times earlier this season. But that was with Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson, who we don't have anymore. And I believe they beat them once without Devin Booker. But yesterday was so different. It's not what I expected from the Suns. Book still has 32, just was not enough. It was not enough. It is what it is, though. It's time for y'all. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with Ian. It's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety.